Hello and welcome to Hobbyist Extraordinaire. Today's hobby is painting nails. Come with me to paint my Christmas nail set. I started with Bottle Service from Holo Taco. And I went ahead and used that as the base coat on both sides of my nails because I want the gold to show on the underside after I cover it all up with nail art. And then I did a second coat of that as well. And then I used Not Milky White, also from Holo Taco. And covered up all of the nails except the two that I wanted to leave gold. Then I went in with this LA Colors Gel Like Fierce. I just randomly happened across this nail polish when I was at Walmart and thought it was the perfect Christmas red. And then I debated on whether or not to wrap the tip, but I kind of wanted the tips to stay gold, so I decided on only using the top coat to wrap the tip. Then I went in with this beautiful Christmassy green from Holo Taco, which is Monstera, and I had decided to kind of use traditional Christmas colors, hence the red and green and gold. Now I'm going in with Cardinal Sins and covering up the other red nail polish. And then the same with the green, I used Far From the Tree. And I just really like the way this crushed hollow looked. And then I covered all of that up with this Finger Paints top coat. Then I went in with striping tape and I just went ahead and grabbed two pieces of that and lined it up in the middle of one of my red nails to make it look like the front trim on Santa's coat. Go ahead and readjust those, make sure it's actually straight. And then I squeezed it all down so I could go in with Not Milky White and just fill in between those lines carefully. And then peel that off to reveal my nice clean white line straight down the middle. And then I just put a little dab of that on my tray and took a dotting tool and just kind of added little white accents to the bottom to make it look like a fur trim kind of at the bottom of Santa's coat. Now I'm taking the same white and a dotting tool and going in on a couple of the green nails to make a base for an ornament. While that was drying, I decided to take my striping tape and start creating my Christmas trees on the gold nails. And I just filled in between those lines with the same Monstera from earlier. Peel those off to reveal a nice Christmas tree in the middle of the nail. Now back to my ornament nail, I'm going to go in with this glazed over to give it an iridescence to that base. Now back to striping tape over on my Santa nail. I'm creating Santa's belt using the striping tape and one coat black. and then peel that off to reveal Santa's belt in the middle of the coat. Back over to my Christmas trees, I used this 3D gel. Don't ask me to pronounce the name because I don't know how, but I really liked this gold 3D gel, so I decided to use it for garland on my trees. So I just took it out, used the Play-Doh snake method to make a long thin line. And then I just placed it on the tree like garland and then peeled off the excess. And then I repeated that process a couple of more times. I did cure in between the first two and the last two, and then I did the last two off camera, but I did add a couple more pieces of garland to my tree. Now, to pick a star for the top of the tree, I decided to use this white star out of these Taylor Swift Eras nail stickers because I figured it would stand out a little bit better on top of the gold nail. And I used this UV curing adhesive to help with the durability of all of my little baubles that I added onto my tree. And then I put that adhesive between the pieces of garland so I could go in with these green and red pearlescent baubles to be ornaments on my tree. And then cured all of that before going over to my ornament nail. I took red flaky taco and a dotting tool and just kind of covered up where I've already put the white and glazed over. And now for my first time attempting chrome isolation. So I decided to use another brand that I can't pronounce to put a matte coat over the nails that I plan on attempting chrome isolation on. And then cured that before setting it aside and using these buckles on Santa's belt as an excuse to procrastinate trying out the chrome isolation because I was nervous. Back over to my ornaments, I went ahead and decided to add my gold string at the top of the ornament, and I used the same gold 3D gel from earlier that I used to make the garland on my trees. Now for the next step in the chrome isolation attempt, I went ahead and took my clear nail gel and using the same Play-Doh snake method, I went ahead and rolled out a long piece of it before cutting a smaller piece out to roll that a little bit thinner to place that on my nail. Then once that was placed on my nail, I tried to squish it down a little bit just to make sure it was actually sticking before I started shaping. So these are supposed to be gold ribbons that will appear flat on the nail to look like a present. So I didn't want it to be rounded on top, so I tried to make sure that it was flat all the way across before taking off that excess with the craft knife and the same silicone tool I used to flatten out the gel. Of course, cure that up before taking this gold chrome powder and going over that gel. I wouldn't say that I did good on this attempt, but I didn't do terrible. And then I repeated the same process with the horizontal piece of ribbon before moving on to the pinkies. I used the same UV Cure adhesive from earlier to fill in this little bow silicone mold that I thought would work perfect as a present bow on my pinkies. And I just set the nail in there, pressed down, and then set it on top of my UV light. I'm sure there was a better way to do this, but I feel like I didn't do terrible. You can tell it's a bow. That's all I really wanted. These are just for me. Now that the chrome isolation is done, I moved back on over to my ornament nails to continue adding to the layers with that Silver Flake Taco. And then I went over to the Gold Flake Taco and did the same thing once everything was dry. This'll be. Then I went with this Everything Taco and did the same thing for that final layer. My cat just decided to supervise this day. And then using the same UV Cure gel from earlier, I tried to create a little clear dome to go over the top of my ornament to make it appear 3D. And then I covered everything up with the same finger paints top coat from earlier, and we are done. This is my Christmas set for this year, so I am planning on wearing these basically all the way until New Year's. I really love how sparkly they are and how golden sparkly the underside is, and I hope that you enjoyed these too if you are watching this, especially if you actually made it this far. I can't tell you how much I appreciate you watching any amount of this video, so thank you so much for joining me today. I hope everyone has enjoyed the holiday season so far, and that it has been and will remain peaceful and stress-free for everyone. I am determined to keep my 2025 holiday season peaceful and stress-free this year, absolutely determined, and I hope that all of you get to do the same. So again, thank you so much for watching. If you would like to, please like and subscribe. It's free. Let that be your Christmas present to me. But thank you, thank you, thank you. I hope everyone has a wonderful holiday season, a wonderful new year. Thanks for watching. Okay, bye. Love you so much. Okay, thank you. Bye.